To me, it's also the most heartbreaking part of this whole thing. So the public schools, and probably the private ones too, release their hearing to me. It's also the most heartbreaking part of this whole thing. So the public schools, and probably the private ones too, release their children when the winds started going up. Now that is normal, okay? Here in Louisiana, if we know we have a hurricane coming in or we're having hurricane force winds, the schools will release the children. Unfortunately, in Maui, a lot of the families had both parents working and there were nobody home, and these children were sent home. The alarms were not activated, and now there are all these kids missing. But my question for you is this: is this going to be like a Hurricane Katrina situation where the kids just disappear? Could this possibly be a way, if this was staged, if they knew it was going to happen, could people actually have done this to take these children? I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I think in this day and age, we need to wake up and we need to realize that kids are being trafficked across the world, guys. It is a real thing. It is not a conspiracy theory. It happened in Hurricane Katrina. It happened in Haiti. And now I'm wondering, did it happen in Maui? So please keep these families in your prayer and educate yourself by watching the rest of this video.
Had just briefly started. Schools were let out and children were sent home, which is a normal thing when when a hurricane is about to hit or there's high winds. But at this point in time, those children's families, their parents, were not present at home because of the cost of living in these affected areas is so high that these parents were off at work, and these children, by the time the flames hit their homes, had nowhere to go. So here we see from an article from the Wall Street Journal, in Maui wildfire, many fear children are large share of the dead. With schools closed, Lahaina parents left children at home while they worked. Confirmed death toll of 110 is expected to rise. And that's something we'll get into. I have so many questions around this one. Why didn't rescue and recovery efforts begin in that specific affected area where children in specific school districts were sent home? Why weren't those children recovered? And if they were recovered, is this another Haiti operation? We know, based upon patterns of the past, whenever there's a natural disaster, human trafficking spikes in those affected areas. And I bring up Haiti because it's one of the most well-known human trafficking operations, and children were a major element in those operations. So were these children, my questions are these children deceased, or were they extracted before? And people will say whatever they want to say about that, but we have State Department information, we have so many different reports about children being extracted during, not after, during these incredible disasters that happen globally. So I'm very concerned. And why is it that even after 38%, as of today, 38% of the affected area has been combed over, what about finding out if those children were actually deceased? Girls who organized an airlift to the west side. It's stunning. Planes and helicopters landing all day to bring supplies better than the government. I just saw retired firefighters volunteering to distribute goods. So the fact that the mayor's office, this would be one thing if it was another citizen saying, hey, you shouldn't be reporting here. That in and of itself is wrong. But to have the mayor's office come and say that this is a media-free zone, it shows the direction and the priority of that mayoral administration. They want to keep people out, and they want to keep the news from getting out as well. But way to go, Will Kane. I saw him get on a boat. I saw him try every which way to get information out. That is true journalism. One of the concerning things also about this whole situation has to do with even getting into the area. I had individuals on the ground who were not able to get into the affected area, who were locals after they escaped. At the same time, locals couldn't get out of the affected area. And it was FEMA who was running interference at that point in time. Not only so that people couldn't get in or out, but also so that resources couldn't get in or out. And as he stated, it was the locals who stepped up and started providing resources into that area via boat and via
just
plane.
in shock.
When I started getting texts and messages from friends on the other side saying, hey, no one is here. Do you know anyone you can call? Can you help us? And it started off with really being boots on the ground. Okay, let's get the jet skis, let's get the boats. Let's call friends who fly commercial aircraft and see if we can charter a plane. We just took it upon ourselves like, okay, we could probably do a full day to hold our friends and family over before the caravan arrives with everything. And it was just like day after day. Where are they? I haven't seen one state, one county, one federal official at any one of the donation hubs where people are most suffering. People are sleeping in their cars. People are asking for specific items now. The federal government says they're here. As soon as you go to the west side, all of a sudden you're like, wow, why do I feel like I'm in a third world country right now? You could go to any one of those hubs on the west side of the island and you can ask everyone there. And they'll be like, oh, we haven't seen anyone. No one came to talk to us. No one's come to assist. I wonder if the state, county, they believe we're doing such a good job, they don't need to step in. But a lot of these volunteers have been going all day, all night for 5-6 days now and are exhausted and are waiting for a handoff or at least a break.
And here's a secondary account for you to see.
Has FEMA or the Red Cross shown up? Have people tried to step in to assist, or what's the update with you at Honokawai Hub?
Honokawai Beach Park has
had no assistance from FEMA or Red Cross for the first 2 days, and when they did come and step in, we at that point we didn't really need any help from anybody. Yep. It was a local community kind of gluing together of the people of Punahou Beach Park and putting hands on directly helping the community out. At this point, we're not really needing them. It seems like their assistance hasn't been present at all. Local people are getting turned down from having access to Lahaina to bring supplies and materials, and when FEMA does show up, they don't have any supplies or materials for us. So in the direction of moving forward, we need to have communication with the other side bringing supplies, or with you, Kai, directly, so you can kind of assist us to bring us what we need, because it's hard for people to get in and out if you don't have a Lahaina residency or a state ID or any information saying that you live in Lahaina. So we're trying to direct our attention to just anybody outside in Kahului and Kula that can bring supplies into us on the west side of the island.
Right on, Kapono. Thank you for being a community leader and making a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
We couldn't do without you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, you can see around, we've got all of our water kind of set up. A lot of the water here will get dropped off since we're such a main hub. We send it to Lahaina Luna. We get a lot of drop-offs, produce, clothes, coolers, ice, as a central hub going to wherever it needs, and also same here. We got Wi-Fi and everything, right? We've got granola bars, cereal,
So as you can see, this is the people doing this. It's not the government. It's not FEMA or the Red Cross. This is the people taking care of their neighbors. It's beautiful to see, but it's also sad because where are your tax dollars going? And all the donations being made to FEMA and the Red Cross at this point in time, because politicians are saying donate here and donate here. Where's the help? Where's body count from 110 increases? Let's roll that now. Where's the help? Where's body count from 110 increases? Let's roll that now.
Let me bring in Heather Ganis. She's a Maui resident. Heather, you were in California when the fire swept through Lahaina, and have you been able to reunite with your son and husband? And just tell us what you found.
Yes, I've made it back to Maui. I am currently on the west side with my son and husband. We have been reunited. We went to see our home yesterday, and there's nothing left. Nothing left. Our town is devastated.
Heather, where are you and your family staying right now?
We're staying at a vacation rental in Kahana. We have a few days there, thanks to a wonderful family who has shared their vacation home with us.
What do you need? What do the people of Lahaina need? Just talk about what you've seen in terms of the federal response, but also Will Kane, who's been on the ground, has talked about the community response and the community coming together and how that has just been incredible to witness.
It's been amazing. Hawaii and Lahaina especially, we're a close town, we're a small town. We know each other. You can't go into the grocery store without running into someone you know. And everyone has come together from the other side of the island, from other islands. Before we even got any help from off island, our island people had us covered. We are just in awe of the outpouring of aloha and love, and we've been fed. We have clothes, we have necessities because of all the people who have just rallied together to help Lahaina. And it's just been amazing to witness the aloha.
Again, it's the people, not the government. Now, based upon the first-hand accounts of a firefighter who has been in communication, they don't wish to be identified, which I completely understand at this point in time, but their first-hand account, as well as individuals who were the first to arrive on the bay, on the shores of Lahaina to get resources in, once the official body count numbers started coming out from the government and from the mainstream media, that there was only, 80, well, first was 30, 50, 80, 90 people deceased, I think they didn't want to spook the people watching this story develop online, because as these first responders started to show up on the scene, I was getting reports that 700-800 people minimum was going to be the baseline for the body count that they were finding based upon the bodies floating in the harbor, on the rocks of the harbor, from people jumping into the ocean trying to escape the fire, but due to the smoke, whether people got lightheaded and passed out in the water, even people on the streets, the bodies were being thrown into trucks. The bodies were being thrown into trucks.